Okay, this video is called How to Get a Humanities Education Good, Fast, and Cheap. So one of the things I'm concerned about is trying to save Western civilization, and people say, well, who are you? You're not a college professor. Well, I say college professors suck, almost all of them. And, you know, I got no fancy connections or anything, but I study this stuff on my own a lot. And so I've written a trilogy of books, and all you got to do is read these books, and I'll give lectures about all of them. I'm going to do every single chapter, everything for free. And so here's the first one right here, the Holy Grail of Wisdom Quotes. You know, it's about 700 pages, and I got all the best quotes in here. And that's how you remember a good author. It's how I remember a good author. I remember the quotes from their best quotes from their best books, and that's how I remember them in my mind's eye. And I keep a file on my computer of all the best quotes, the best authors and philosophers and scholars and stuff. Okay, so that's the Holy Grail of Wisdom Quotes. This next book was Rhyme, Rhetoric, and Logic. And where that came from is I had studied a lot of the history of Western civilization and literature. And when I first wrote one of my early books, my friends, I have a bunch of friends that write for a living, you know, they're lawyers and things like that. And they had teased me. They said my writing kind of sucked, and I thought it was better than it was. So I went back and tried to read everything you could learn about how to write better. And, you know, what it went into the historical process of rhetoric with the ancient Greeks, Aristotle, you know, ethos, pathos, logos, chronos, and all that stuff. And then, you know, I studied people like, you know, the rappers and stuff. How do they rhyme so well? Eminem, you know, he's a scumbag, but man, he's a genius of writing. And then, of course, this most recent book of Best Christian Art. So it's all there, and all you got to do is go through those books. Or, you know, there's lots of other great humanities writers. I would say if you want to read, you know, philosophy, the best book is The Light in the Cave by Arthur Herman. If you want to learn about literature, the best two books would be Romantic Manifesto by Ayn Rand, and also to read Arthur Schopenhauer on the history of art and literature. They're magnificent books. So anyways, I'm going to start doing more and more humanities chapters. I love this stuff, and I see what happens now is Western civilization is collapsing, and it's because a lot of reasons are going into that, but part of it's because so many young people that go to public schools, they come out of their ahistorical, functional illiterates. And you don't need to, you know, dedicate your whole life or get a PhD in humanities to learn the best stuff. It's pretty easy to learn. Learn the quotes, look at the best art, listen to the best music, and do whatever else interests you. And I'll talk more about the great humanists. You know, I like Victor David Hanson. Okay, the best professor ever at thegreatcourses.com would be Rufus Fears. I'm going to talk about all these people and a lot more. And I'm going to go through all the chapters of these books for free. So anybody who wants to get an education for free, you don't need to pay college tuition. I'll take you as far as I can. And once you've learned what I've shown you, it'll be very easy for you to jump into other stuff.